Hello gainers, Ralphie here on location on a bright sunny day by the beach. Beautiful fresh air, sea breeze, a little bit of rotting seaweed, and still it's a late time of the year because we're now into October. It feels actually quite summery. I'm not complaining. It's very, very nice and I'm making the most of it, making the most of the sunshine, making the most of gaining the gains and sharing what I've discovered with you to help you with your gains and your fitter philosophy. Now, my topic of conversation today, which I want to share with you, follows on from my last review where I talked about food for nutrition versus food for entertainment, and how in fact we suffer from nutritional losses because we tend to eat for the sweetness in the foods we buy. We buy a lot of junk and then our life becomes a bit more junk filled. Our body becomes a bit more junk. We're fat and we are hungry, and this is really down to the industrialization and loss of individual control over food consumption. Food, of course, the primary purpose is nutrition, protein, carbohydrates and fats, but there's a lot more than that. There's the vitamins, the water-soluble vitamins that we get from fruit and vegetables. There's the fat-soluble vitamins that we get from nuts and from egg yolks, very, very important food source, eggs. And there are the micronutrients, the magnesium and zinc that we get from, for example, offal. Offal being the organs of animals, if you happen to be a meat eater, which is most unfashionable now for people to eat. People tend to go for lean muscle tissue out of cows, pigs and sheep. And I would suggest that there's an awful lot to be learned from observing nature, and I'll mention this in passing, that when a lion makes a kill out in the savannah on the plains of Africa, the last thing they go for is the lean muscle tissue on the zebra, giraffe, buffalo, whatever they've taken as their prey. They go for the offal, for the organs. And the reason's simple: not only are the easiest to eat, the easiest to digest, but the kidneys, liver in particular, are most nutritious. And liver, for example, is full of a very rich source of iron and other trace minerals, because that's one place where the body tends to store them. And this is what we've got to watch with modern food consuming habits, is that we're so busy chasing the sweet flavour and the satisfaction and the hit that we get from that we overlook proper nutritional value of food. And some sauté liver in a stew is hugely nutritious for obtaining the trace elements, zinc, iron, very good example, that we need for our body's good health. And an awful lot of people think they're healthy because they're not sick, but until you are really healthy, you don't know what it is, which is why we need to get properly healthy at least once in our lives as a point of reference. But the real topic, the real meat, excuse the pun, of my video here is to get you thinking here, get your philosophy a little fitter by asking you to look at food in a certain perspective, which is quite unusual and not encouraged in modern society. And it's quite simply that food should be your medicine, and you should find medicine in your food. Because in the modern world, and it's global now because it is a global village, we're encouraged to believe that medicine is only available when you go to a chemist shop and when doctors prescribe it from their surgery. And that's generally true when you look at it superficially, because allopathic medicine, which is a particular style of medicine, which tends to treat symptoms, it's a certain style of medicine. It's not what you'd call holistic, but it's certainly dominant, particularly in what's used to be called the West, but it's more global than that now. East, West, North, South, frankly, it doesn't exist anymore. The global village is here, and once you get your head around that, things start to make more sense. saying, let medicine be your food, let food be your medicine. Seek to get as much nutritional value from fresh, locally sourced, preferably, I'd say organic, but I really mean lack of industrial processing foods, because that's where serious nutritional value is. And with that nutritional value, you're simply helping the body be far, far more effective at looking after itself in its own way. We are all individuals, we look different on the outside, and what's not acknowledged is that we're different on the inside too. Bone density, bone size, bone structure, organ placement. We are more different than we care to realise, because we're not taught this. Particularly when it comes to our homeostasis, our body's balance. Our body is constantly rebalancing, realigning itself to maintain wellness and health. And the more healthy we eat our food, drinking clean water that doesn't have fluoride in it and other chemicals, because we're talking, the more you can cut out the chemicals in your consumption line, the better. The more well you're going to be. And as much as let medicine be your food, let food be your medicine, we tend to have a very narrow definition of what food is, and yet you go out into a garden, you go online, start looking at herbs. There is so much medicinal value in herbs which is completely written out of the modern day script that needs to be rediscovered and re-explored. Now, if you're a weightlifter, if you're a gainer in the gym, if you're an athlete, if you're very active, particularly if you're older, you really want to get some decent fresh turmeric along with some fresh pepper into your diet and use the raw stuff. You can get the capsules, but the more you incorporate into the food, the more you're incorporating proper flavour into your food. Particularly stews. Stews are so overlooked and underrated because they're very good at trapping nutrition. Because vitamins that are water soluble, if you're eating a stew, you're consuming the water in which vegetables and meats cook. Simples. Never underestimate simple old-fashioned cooking. And I'll give you another really, really good illustrative example. And it's something that I can speak from personally because it affected me 2 years ago. I didn't realise my blood pressure was creeping up the way it was. And it was doing so because of long-term consumption of caffeine and smoking cigars and drinking whiskey. You know, life's bad habits. Hey, we all have them. We all enjoy them. The secret of success is to keep on top of them, manage them, and take time out from our luxuries. And if we do so, they become more luxurious. Just saying. Laws of the universe. But I was prescribed blood pressure tablets, which did work superficially, but they had side effects. And I didn't feel right on them. I was listening to my body. The body doesn't talk to us, the body feels to us. The body makes us feel things. We've got to be sensitive and tune into these feelings. Be aware of them. Because too many people are disconnected from their body and just ignore it. It's something there to be controlled and manipulated rather than cooperated with. And I did my research and I ended up with hawthorn extract, which I got from my hedge, and I made hawthorn tea and it worked. But in fact, it was most effective when I got good quality supplements. And by the way, always choose your supplements carefully. There's plenty of supplement providers out there, but there's a big difference between the run-of-the-mill and the reputable ones that have got a good reputation. Always go for the good reputation supplement providers. I bought it in eBay, hawthorn extract. It's controlling my blood pressure beautifully, and it's a very good example of finding medicine from the natural world which doesn't come out of a chemist's shop or a drugstore, and just finding the right balance that works for us. Nobody should ever know ourselves better than ourselves, and that is why we should always stick to our guns with what we eat, when we eat, constantly evolving and morphing from bad eating habits to better quality food, nutrition, and the medicine that you get from that, because food is our medicine and medicine is in our food. And when we understand that and act upon it, when we really embrace this and build it into our daily lives, our quality of life gets so much better, and actually I can say from experience, in ways you don't even know till it actually happens. I'm Ralphie, saying goodbye. Hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, click likey, leave commenty, subscribe, etc. And thanks for watching my video. I'm Ralphie, I'm on location. A bit more cloud cover, but that's fine. The sun's still there. It's not going away anytime soon, and neither am I. So join me again shortly for another of my Fitter Philosophy videos, sharing my journey to help you with yours. Bye bye.